Hello, my name is Marcin Myszno. I am a strategy consultant at Element Fleet Management, and I am here to talk about choosing the best lease term for your vehicles. Before we talk about optimal lease term, let's clarify what we mean by lease term. Some fleet managers, especially those who are new to open-end leasing, think the lease term is the length of time before a vehicle will be replaced. But actually, that's not the correct definition. Lease term is the time period when the vehicle will be completely paid off. So let's assume we have two vehicles. Each vehicle costs $30,000. Clients may pay them off in anywhere from 24 to 60 months, depending on agreed lease terms. In this case, let's assume you are considering two lease terms, 45 or 60 months. If the lease term is 45 months, you will be paying the vehicle off in 45 months at $667 per month. On the other hand, paying off the vehicle in 60 months would generate a lease payment of $500 per month. It means that for that vehicle, your bill will be about $167 lower with 60 months lease term than 45 months lease term, or about $200,000 lower over 1 year on 100 vehicles. This is the amount that could be invested in other projects in your company at higher return or would not need to be borrowed from the bank when need arises. Now let's consider how lease term plays into the lease adjustment credit or charge at the end of the lease when vehicle is sold. This curve represents the decreasing value of the vehicle the longer it is in service. Let's assume that you would like to replace the vehicle around 80,000 miles. We estimate that the vehicle will reach 80,000 miles in 36 months based on your current utilization. So when we sell this particular vehicle, we can expect to receive about $6,000 for it. Lease term is chosen at the beginning of the lease and determines the rate of decline in book value. If you choose a 60 months lease term, your book value will reach zero in exactly 60 months, which means that you are paying 1/60th of the cost of the vehicle each month. That rate does not accelerate or slow down like the value of the vehicle, so we represented it as a straight line. So when we sell this vehicle, the residual value is most likely lower than the remaining book value, resulting in a final adjustment charge. Trying to avoid that charge, you may elect to shorten the lease term. So what happens if we elect a lease term that will pay the vehicle off in 40 months? Because the residual value is higher than the book value, the sale amount will pay down the book value and generate a credit for you for the difference between the two. Paying off the vehicle too fast may have a detrimental impact on your cash flows because you are overpaying for the lease on a monthly basis when these funds could be used internally. We can help you determine the lease term that is right for your organization. From the no gain, no charge perspective, a 50-month lease term seems to be perfect payoff speed in this example. This way, when a vehicle is sold, it does not generate any charges or credits. So let's review some of the main points around lease term in an open-end leasing scenario. Lease term in an open-end leasing is the speed at which you are paying off your asset. A 50-month lease term will see a vehicle paid off completely in 50 months. If the lease term is too short, paying off faster, you may experience a credit at the end of the lease if the resale amount is higher than what is still owed. If the lease term is too long, paying off slower, you may experience a charge at the end of the lease. The optimal lease term will depend on model and its estimated residual at the end of the lease, and your company's internal rate of return or weighted average cost of capital. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions or wonder what is the right lease term for your fleet, please reach out to Element Fleet Management.